Hello everybody on the internet watching, and welcome to another Week 6 bout here in Season 3 of the Totally Normal Football League. We're live here at Hamilton as the Rollers look for their first win of the season against this visiting San Francisco Shitbirds. Should be a interesting bout. Bud Beaglesworth still the QB with Booker Trayton Jr. out for quite a number of weeks. So the Shitbirds won the opening coin toss, so it'll be the Rollers getting the first possession of the game. And they're going to need to have a statement game here today. They only scored 3 points on their opening drive against the Stoats a couple of games ago. Sid Vanderjunk gets a return past the 25. So Bud Beaglesworth in charge of this offense. He's throwing to the trio that got the Rollers to the Normal Bowl last season. Garrett Rinser, the back as well. He's been having a decent season so far. It's going to be a draw play, and Rinser stopped for no gain as Max Geigenham, the rookie middle linebacker drafted in the first round by the Shitbirds, gets the stop. No gain on that play. But it's the Rollers' inability to really get first downs that's the problem. As Garrett Rinser goes off tackle, he gets 2 yards. That'll bring up a quick third down for the Rollers. And it's just that inability to really consistently get yards that has plagued the Rollers all season long. Bud Beaglesworth standing in the shotgun next to Garrett Rinser. 3 wide receivers set. Shitbirds send 5, and they throw to the flat where Garrett Rinser is out of bounds for a catch. That'll bring out the punt squad. And that's basically been Rollers football this season, which is such a shame because they started with so much promise as well. They had a phenomenal game against the Beefers in Week 1, probably the highlight of the season still. But since then, they just have not been able to really put anything together despite all efforts to shuffle around the roster, trying to optimize a game plan. Great punt there by Edward Fongo. It'll be out of bounds behind the 20. At the 18, but behind the 20 is behind the 20. And not only that, it was an out of bounds kick that prevented a return. Like, it was phenomenal. Enough about the Rollers. It's Willie Goman and the Shitbirds out on the field now. They're going to draw play it to Phil Stickler, who, as dependable a running back he's been for the Shitbirds, was under a lot of scrutiny after last week's game against the Gators. He fumbled the ball twice. Not only that, in a row, one of those fumbles being recovered for a touchdown. So ball security definitely has been drilled into the heads of this San Francisco crew. As Stickler goes up the middle, he'll get 3 yards before being crunched down by Walter Kiteflyer. That'll be a third down for the Shitbirds. Nick Pacer in as running back. It'll be another draw play up the middle, but the Rollers close the door quickly. Owen Cantwell getting the tackle for no gain, and both teams begin their opening drive with a punt. So the Shitbirds got shellacked last week against the Gators, and the Rollers are looking for their first win. So not a lot of motivation coming into Hamilton by either of these two teams. So a win here will give some of that. Hanging a decisive win will also help that quite a bit. Return to the 50 by Sid Vanderjunk is going to give the Rollers a short field. And with Kyle Borger on their team as their kicker, they don't have to get far down the field now to at least end this drive in 3 points. But it sure would be nice if the Rollers could score their first touchdown in a while. Garrett Rinser out in a 4 wide receiver set. Shitbirds send 5. Beaglesworth is just going to run it, and he'll get a 9-yard scramble to the Shitbirds 40. He's not a fast lad, but when the opportunity presents himself, there's a lot of times the AI in this game, when they scramble out of the pocket, they'll do so while there's already somebody blitzing them, but consistently, Bud Beaglesworth is able to get those good scrambles. I don't know what about his AI specifically is able to find those opportunities more than anyone else. As we got to throw to the flat. Tipped away by Chad Candy. Not really a flat. That was more of a corner route than anything. If only I knew anything about American football. 3rd and inches play here for the Rollers. Bunch formation. Rinser on the counter run. He has a blocker in front. Rinser's got a good yard. Shakes a tackle. Gets a spin to the 25. Great run there by Rinser. Gets the first down and then some on the Shitbirds 26. He shook a tackle. He got a block, shook a tackle, and got a spin for an extra 2 yards. That's the kind of action you need from a team that is looking for their first win today. And they're already easily within field goal range to go up in this game. And that's big Olatoya Jr. stopping that run. Kerry front loader running into a brick wall on that play. And that's going to result in a lossage of yards. A lossage? What the fuck? The things that come out of your mouth sometimes when you just prompt yourself to just keep talking because you sound smart. Twin tight end with front loader. Eaglesworth back to throw. Shitbirds send 5. It's a corner route. Was Evan Sackland, the former Shitbird, wide open for the touchdown. Evan Sackland got moved to tight end from the offensive line a couple of weeks ago here on the Rollers, and now that puts him in a position to score a touchdown against his former team. Sackland was a 2-year Shitbird. And gained a reputation as being one of the best defensive ends in the league. Before the Shitbirds had to let him go due to contract negotiation issues. And the Shitbirds' loss is the Rollers' gain as Evan Sackland gets open for 6 points. Kyle Borger kicks the extra point, and the home team now gives the crowd something to cheer about as they're up 7-0. It's going to be Justin Threadbare getting to the 20 on this return. So the Shitbirds with a win tonight, if they get some good points on the board, they'll be even with the Stoats. And they'll pass the Beefers, who are still preparing for their Gators game. Big blitz from the Rollers. I think they sent 8. Oh my God. That was box drag, right click the quarterback as far as the blitz order was confirmed, and it works. Willie Goldman was not ready for the pressure, and that'll bring up a quick 2nd down. Goldman back to throw. That was James Dingo on the stick route. Part of Amen break getting the tip away. I'll bring up a 3rd down. Goldman under center with Stickler behind him. Got 10 yards to go on this to convert a 1st down. Throw it to the post route, and that's going to be tipped away by Emmett Bonkwright, closely covering Kelsey Ma'auto. And that'll bring up 4th down. So, yeah, Bonkwright on Ma'auto. One of the keys for success I have for the Rollers is they need to shut down Ma'auto. There is no other member of the Shitbirds Goldman goes to more in times of need than Ma'auto. He's definitely their playmaker by far. And if they can take away that weapon from the Shitbirds, they can definitely kneecap the Shitbirds quite a bit. Emmett Bonkwright on the return there, filling in for Sid Mander, junked already. It's only able to get basically a yard before he's shoved down. It's a wonder he didn't call for the fair catch. So it's the Rollers at the 39. Garrett Rinser, the lone back with 2 tight ends. And that'll be a penalty on Hamilton, a false start that looked like number 73, but again, the game doesn't tell you which one gunned it early, and that's going to set the Rollers back 5 yards. Bug Beaglesworth back to throw. Big blitz from the Shitbirds. Allows Piloni to get a drag route in for a short yardage. Isaiah Cleverbottom getting the tackle afterwards. But both teams really blitz heavy, but the Shitbirds are a bit more capricious with their attitude. Sometimes they send 3, sometimes they send 6. Whereas the Rollers are basically sending 6 almost every single time, it seems like. 1 yard, or 4-yard gain on the pass. Bud Beaglesworth throwing over the middle, again trying to get it to Pyloni, but great coverage there by, that should be Chad Candy. It's going to bring up 3rd and long with 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the first. Beaglesworth pump fake. Shitbirds only send 4, and it's not good, dude. Sackland was right on the line for a first down. He was running the 10, like a 10 or 11 yard out route. Fantastic catch in open space, but he just couldn't turn upfield the couple of inches required for a first down, and now Edward Fongo was out to punt. That is frustrating. But a good stop from the Shitbirds nonetheless. And what a great backspin from Edward Fongo as Sid Manderjunk touches down the ball at the 14. So that is the second time today Edward Fongo has punted it inside the 20. Billy Goman, 81 yards ahead of them, and Phil Stickler cannot get by Welter Kiteflyer. And he might be stopped for a half-a-yard loss. Roller said 6, and getting on through is Jacob Wayover, who gets the sack. Or perhaps the tuck rule sack. Looks like it's being ruled as. That'll bring up 3rd down and 11 still for the Shitbirds. They're at their own 13. Goldman throws a screen pass and unfortunately can't get any further blocks. But that screen pass almost worked, actually. That was like the first time we've almost seen a successful screen pass happen on a 3rd down. It's usually a good play call in real football, but I don't know what it is with the AI and just their inability to do any screenplays, but stopped by the Rollers. Some backspin on that by Tommy Tatum. Going to net the Rollers some extra yards on that. They're going to get the ball from their own 43. Trips bunch formation. Bud Beaglesworth in the shotgun. This is one of the most Rollers football things I've ever seen, and it is number 8. That is Aaron Ambalmo jumping up high for the football for a nice medium gain. And that's going to end our first quarter of play. The Hamilton Rollers in possession of the football and in control of the game, up 7-0 after an Evan Sackland touchdown against his former team. Full house formation. We've been seeing this a lot from a lot of the teams in the league recently. That's going to be Grinzer on the counter play. 5-yard gain to the Shitbirds 40. Beaglesworth once again in the shotgun, but Garrett Rinser is going to receive the handoff, and Rinser has fumbled the ball, and the Shitbirds pick it up at their own 35. A chorus of boos ringing out here at the Foundry. The mill, if you will, and Hamilton is going to use one of their challenge flags on this. Garrett Rinser, that's a great tackle there by Darren Langsdale, and yeah, I don't see an elbow or knee down as Rinser gets flipped over. Swim lanes and Klungo getting a great lane open for him, but Rinser gets tripped up. He goes head first into Wayne T-block, and yeah, he is Looking like he's taking a wrestling move on that one when the ball comes loose. This one's pretty clear to me that it is a fumbled ball. And it's about time the Shitbirds got some luck, but we'll see what the referee's decision is. The play is reversed? Okay, I don't know what the ref saw. That'll be a third down for the Rollers. They are within Kyle Borger field goal distance. It's not a very windy day so far, so it should be an easy one for him. But Bigglesworth back to throw. It's dropped! Slick Quiglet on the very quick fullback checkdown pass. Bobbled the ball. Fourth down Rollers. So they'll go for the 54-yarder. To go up 10 points. And Kyle Borger dunks it on the horizontal bar. No good. We have found Kyle Borger's exact maximum range, folks. And it is that far. The Shitbirds stay within 7. It's not a very windy day. That was a good snap, a good place, good kick. 54 yards, folks. That's the limit for Kyle Borger. Phil Stickler in for running back. Willie Goen, play action. Not a lot of pressure. They try to get it to an open Kelsey Ma'auto, but great work from Carter Amen. Break makes up the pass. That could have gone for a huge chunk of yards. Good try there by Willie Goman, but they'll bring up a 2nd and 10. It'll be a draw play to Phil Stickler, and he'll get stopped for no gain by Owen Cantwell, who's definitely been a highlight of this Rollers defense. Of course, they forced the Stoats to only 7 points in their loss last week, so it's definitely not their fault that they've gone winless so far. They've got an amazing crew of pass rushers. They only sent 3 on this one. It's a wheel route by Kelsey Ma'auto, who gets it in at the 6. And yeah, Pierre Dumoulin took a heavy hit from that, I was about to say. And he appears to have injured his shoulder. Pierre Dumoulin, although criticized for his short height, he is a fast little guy. And the Shitbirds can always rely on high lobs to either him or Ma'auto or Dingo. And losing Dumoulin is huge because they also lose out on the great run blocking he's able to support. Nick Pacer getting stopped for no gain by Reno Pearson. That is bad news for the Shitbirds, who have already suffered 2 injuries right now. They were supposed to get Silva Goldman back for this game, but they have sat him out for another week just to be sure. And now we might see Pierre Dumoulin, one of the third-year superstars of the Shitbirds. Enough of that. We have a touchdown. We have a reason to celebrate as Nick Pacer is able to break on through the middle of the field for a touchdown. And we might have a tie game here in Hamilton. Ken Fudge to take the extra point. A 7-yard bulldoze. And Ken Fudge kicks the extra point. Tied up here. Really hoping to get more news on Pierre Dumoulin. We didn't see a lot of celebrating after that touchdown, and probably for good reason. Justin Truth is still out for a majority of the regular season for the Shitbirds. He was a great safety, rookie safety. I think he broke his collarbone, if memory serves, and Sid Manderjunk gets a couple of good blocks. Gets it to the 34. So we have the recipe, we have the startings of a great game here. But Beaglesworth takes the ball. He's under Olatoya Jr. pressure, but August Half-Price receives the ball to the 40 for a modest gain. Six-yard reception by Half-Price. Flick Quicklet and Garrett Rinser in the I formation. 4:20 left. Rinser takes the slow handoff, and that's going to immediately get stopped. Third down for the Rollers. They need 3 yards. Garrett Rinser off tackle. Way open space. First down and then some to the 50. This Hamilton crowd coming out in droves to possibly see their team earn their first win of the season. They've got a lot of ardent supporters from their campaign last season as front loader picks up a great run to the 40 for a first down. We're finally seeing that runner's run blocking that we saw against the Stoats, thanks to Slick Quiglet in the offensive line, which is definitely a name of a band I'm going to form soon. Beaglesworth in the shotgun. A throw, and Piloni is wide open, shakes a tackle, gets downed by the safety at the 20, and the Rollers have a full head of steam. Fresh set of downs at the Shitbirds 19-yard line. Beaglesworth throws it, gets it to Slick. That's not so quickly. That is Kerry front loader for a 5-yard gain as we hit the 2-minute warning. Full house formation. Sackland the tight end, but he's audible to the line. Beaglesworth floats one up. That's Half-Price. First down at the 10. Beaglesworth in the shotgun now, trying to spread out the Shitbirds. Beaglesworth has had his fullback wide open, but it was Half-Price trying to step out of the coverage of Chad Candy, unsuccessfully trying to get his hands on the ball. Candy playing super close to the second-year roller. Chad Candy, an asset and a half to the Shitbirds defense. He's been a phenomenal cornerback. As you see there's just another reason why they love him here in San Francisco. Olatoya Jr. had a free run, and Piloni finally is the one able to step out of coverage. The Rollers will get it to the 5 for this third down try, trying to get 7 more points here in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Free run, wide open is Piloni, who gets a touchdown, and this Hamilton crowd is on their feet. That was a good blitz from the Shitbirds, but they left a devastating weapon wide open at the left side of the field, and Piloni will catch that every day of the week for 6. Kyle Borger, extra point is dead center, and the Rollers get their second touchdown. The Rollers on pace to score more points in this game than they have in their last 3 games combined. But if there's one team to even it up before the half, it would be the Shitbirds. They love throwing it deep. We'll see if the Rollers' pressure on Willie Goman can prevent that. Justin Threadbare returning it up the middle, jumps over a downed roller, gets it to the 35. A minute and 24 seconds remaining. Goman takes the shotgun with split backs. Rollers send 4 and the sack. That is the ballistic missile. Walter Kite Flyer with his first sack of the day. It's going to push the Shitbirds almost all the way back to the 20. A big 8-yard sack. Holy moly. That just made Goman's job a hell of a lot harder. Going in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers set. Rollers send 4. Throw is deep to Dingo, but the ball is off target. That'll bring up 3rd down. That's the kind of... There's an alternate reality where that was an accurate throw, and Dingo was definitely going to take that one to the house for 6. You got to think that Goman wants to do that again, but it looks like they'll run the ball to punt it, which is quitter talk. Yeah, Stickler up the middle. He's converged upon after a 4-yard gain. And the Rollers will use their first timeout, looking to tack on a few more points, make this hopefully a 2-score game going into the half. Of course, the Shitbirds won the opening coin toss, so they will get possession back. So the Rollers want to use as much time remaining as possible. Hopefully squeeze out another point. Andrew Junks runs it right up the middle of the 40-yard line. .53 seconds left. Beaglesworth trying to get a quick throw to Piloni, but the pressure gets to him. Throws it away. 2nd down. Beaglesworth having a great day today. 2 touchdown passes, 10 for 16. Definitely way above the average for a TNFL quarterback. And Beaglesworth is going to run it right up the middle, and he'll get 4 yards on the scramble. Rollers using their 2nd timeout. Third down, and Beaglesworth is just going to keep it, but well spotted by Jamaha Otongatong, who brings him down immediately. If Otongatong had been better blocked there, that could have gone for a 1st down. But good job there by another member of the Shitbirds defense. And the Shitbirds will have a final opportunity here in this first half. 31 seconds remaining to try and tack on some points. Edward Fongo has 2 punts inside the 20 so far today. He's in position to possibly get another one. Should wait for the fair catch here. And it looks like that's going to end the half. So great clock management skills by the Rollers to burn as much time as possible. And we'll begin the second half. Rollers up 14-7. The Rollers 0-5 on the season so far in a 10-game season here in Week 6. They need to win almost every single game going forward if they want to get that number 2 spot in the division and head to the playoffs to defend their normal Bowl 2 appearance. Justin Threadbare up the middle, getting it past the 25. And the Shitbirds, of course, always needing a win to keep pace with the super competitive over their division, with the Beefers and the Stoats all clawing at one another for the number 2 spot, with the Janitors sitting pretty at 5-1 right now. Nick Showers and Phil Stickler in the I formation to begin the half for the Shitbirds. Phil Stickler gets a good lane up the B gap. A 7-yarder. Twin tight ends with Stickler behind still. And off to Stickler, goes through the middle. He's tackled from behind by Reno Pearson, but Stickler will get the first down. Now, if you're the Shitbirds fan, if you are a Shitbirds fan, you are praying that they keep the silly mistakes to a minimum. Bowman hasn't, neither QB has actually thrown an interception yet. And it's up wide open as Kelsey Ma'ato at the 30, at the 20. Jordan Slenderdy in hot pursuit, and he gets him at the 1. And great work there. That is the Shitbirds' MO, is put it up high and let your quick, speedy receivers get the catch. A very Los Angeles Raiders of them, but Willie Goman on his only 3rd completed catch will try and get some juice going in the end zone. What is the ball's not dead yet? What happened? Yeah, 3 for 9 for 113 is the most TNFL QB stat line, I think, of all time. That was also a crazy... No one got that and intercepted it. What happened? Pierre Dumoulin's back in, so whatever injury he sustained was a relatively minor one, and Phil Stickler charges in for a touchdown! But thanks to a big Kelsey Ma'ato reception bringing them to the 2, Stickler finishes off the drive for 6. And we have yet another tie game here in Hamilton. This is going to be a good one, folks. I feel like this is going to be 2 scrappy teams going back and forth with one another. And if the Rollers want their first win of the season, they are going to have to fire on all cylinders to achieve it. Ken Fudge kicks the field goal. And it's 14-all here in Hamilton with 6 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Sid Vander jumped in his own end zone to return the kick. He'll get it past the 20 and be tackled down. Chad Candy on the play. Rollers getting the ball at the 22. Bud Beaglesworth having a fantastic day today. His passer rating will definitely be up there with 2 passing touchdowns and a great completion percentage to back it up. Garrett Rinser right up the middle. Gets about 7 yards, thanks to Bob Stubbs and Erwin Mongo. His knee was spotted after a 5-yard gain, say the referees. Evan Sackland on the move. Shitbirds send 7, and oh, Piloni was wide open. But covering him closely was the cornerback. I could have sworn that was Eric No's number, but he's CB5, and that'd be a little crazy if he was responsible for breaking up that pass. We'll actually go to instant replay. That was Eric No. Holy shit. Okay, your backup CB getting one of the biggest plays to avoid a big Piloni reception. And Bud Beaglesworth on the keep. He'll be sacked. And this crowd booing Beaglesworth's decisions to run for it. Bongo punts it to the left side of the field. And it's muffed. And that might be inside the 20. Justin Threadbare. Who was that? That was 58. That was Dante Rimsitter. What? I wonder if that was just a special teams tackler, not the return man. But yes, it will be Edward Fongo's 3rd inside the 20 punch of the day. Stickler outside pitch, but that is ruined by none other than Owen Cantwell, who continues to have a fantastic day here. At the mill. 15-yard tackle for loss pushes the Shitbirds back to the 13. Stickler, a bit of trickery, and Owen Cantwell stops it again for a loss. No one can block Cantwell, and he is just ruining the Shitbirds' running game. It's a 3rd and forever now. This looks like a screenplay from Goman. Nope, they're going to pass for it. Goman has to throw it. They get it to Dumoulin at the 30 for a first down with a huge corner route conversion. Look at this close coverage. Goman barely has enough time. Kite flyer on man coverage with the tight ends. And Dumoulin scoops up the ball. Incredible work there by Goman to salvage 2 awful setbacks there by Owen Cantwell. And Dumoulin is up to his 70th receiving yard of the day. It's another handoff by Stickler. Finally, someone picks up the block for an 8-yard run. Stickler, 11 for 20 yards. Not great yards per carry as far as the TNFL goes, especially yesterday when it felt like any running back could get an average of 5. But of course, the Rollers' defense is pretty real, even though their record hints at otherwise. Nick Pacer gets a big run up the right side for a first down nearly to the 50. The off-tackle run being stopped by Jordan Slanerty. Fresh set of downs for the Shitbirds at the 48. Nick Pacer gets the quick handoff. He gets it into enemy territory, and he'll be tackled at the Rollers 45 by Drew Badford. Five-yard gain at the Rollers 47. Bowman back to throw. Rollers only send 4, and almost a good corner route by Dumoulin, but it's tipped away. This Rollers crowd cheering on their team. They've turned up in droves to watch the first win of the season. The Shitbirds are looking to go ahead here with the 3rd down try. Goman back to throw. Rollers send 4. Goman to the flat. Gets it to Maato, who turns upfield to the 40 for a first down. Landon Chuckpuff stopping it, but great work on the Shitbirds' offensive line. And I don't think I talk about the Shitbirds' offensive line enough. It seems that every single time we go to the stats post-game, Mark Bustle has like 13 pancakes. And Oliver Holmes and Ray Lazar III aren't too far behind them. Just the ability for them to buy Goman time to make certain decisions for the football gave them a lot of success. And Ray Lazar III appears to have injured his chest on the play. Speak of the devil and he may come. So that means backup Nathan West will be in to replace him. Number 72 there. And that might be bad news for the Shitbirds, as I don't think any of their backup linesmen are that good, but whatever. Stickler doesn't care. He gets it past the 30, almost to the 25 for a big first down run. As we end the 3rd quarter, not a point scored there in the 3rd. It's still 14 all. As tension hangs in the air with this Hamilton crowd desperate to finally see their team that went to the Normal Bowl last season to get their first win. Ray Lazar bruised ribs, but he will return. And that was not a well-placed ball, unfortunately, throwing out of the sack thanks to Walter Kiteflyer's blitz. But good news there, Ray Lazar III not majorly injured. However, it will be Nathan West under center with his trapezoidal-ass body. Holy crap, look how big his body is compared to his legs. And this run ain't going nowhere. That's smushered down by backup linebacker. Who is that? Number 50. No, that's Braden Cringe. That ain't no backup. Forgot Braden Cringe numbers for a second. Shitbirds at the Rollers 29 for a 3rd down try, 3rd and long. Goman steps back, gets it to Dingo, and he spins forward for a first down. Little rule forward progress on the initial catch. That was a great work by Carter. A men break, desperately trying to stop the first down, but the Shitbirds will not be denied on this drive. This started all the way back behind their own 20 after two big Owen Cantwell tackles for losses. But since, oh my god, what is happening? You were running the wrong way, buddy. That is a no-gain run. But it was thanks to a great corner route ran by Pierre Dumoulin that salvaged the drive. And now we are basically flipped to the other side of the field. And we're at the Rollers, what is that, 17. Willie Goldman he was either going to keep it or he was on a boot play. And Walter Kiteflyer has done fantastic blitzing from the edge. Gets a big sack, and now the Shitbirds are pushed back to the 21-yard line. However, on this drive, thanks to this drive alone, the Shitbirds are now 50% on third down. We'll see what Goldman does here. Rollers send 3. Try to get it to Dingo, but it's well covered there by Landon Chuffpuff. And that apparently was Jacoby Harmsway, the former Gator. So the Shitbirds will have to be satisfied by a Ken Fudge 38-yard field goal attempt. And this one is good. Shitbirds go ahead. It's 17-14 here in Hamilton. Now, at the end of the day, a win is a win. But if you're the Shitbirds, after being blown out by both the Gators and the Hellcats this season, you want as many points as possible. So I wonder if we'll see the Shitbirds, even with the lead, still resort to Willie Goldman passes to try and pad their stats a little bit, because point differential is a big tiebreaker stat here in the TNFL. But for now, it's Bud Beaglesworth throws a lazy one over the field for Piloni on the post route past the 40. Great route and catch there by the big man, the second-year roller. Garrett Rinser on the counter, tries to turn upfield. He'll get 2 yards out of it. Dante Rimsitter stopping him in his tracks. But Beaglesworth on the keep. He'll run forward and dive to the 50. Good keep there from Beaglesworth for a nice chunk of yardage. However, he misses the first down line by ever so slightly. Rollers at the 50. Beaglesworth back to throw. Shitbirds, it's their first interception of the game here midway through the 4th. And it is none other than backup cornerback Eric No, who gets an interception on the biggest bully receiver in the league. That is David snatching a ball from Goliath. And the Shitbirds will get the ball at the Rollers' 45. A terrible time for Beaglesworth to throw an interception with the Rollers down 3 so far. Goldman lifts one up. It's caught by James Dingle with the 10. Landon Chuffpuff couldn't cover him. And the interception immediately gets turned into a touchdown. And the Rollers fans everywhere, you could just hear the disappointment, man. This was a close game all the way through. We were tied 14-14 beginning this. They give up the field goal. No hope was lost, but with Beaglesworth throwing the pick, and that being instantly converted by Willie Goman. And I said earlier that the Shitbirds need points, and I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to pass it here. Well, I'm looking like a genius, aren't I? And now the Shitbirds have a 10-point lead with 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the game. Eric goddamn no. Getting an interception on Miles Gundark. If you're a Rollers fan, I think that's just a sign that this season is over and what do we even do now about this? As terrible as it is for me to say. But this game is not over yet. Jordan Slanerty getting the kick return past the 20. Let's not be doomers yet. There is still game to play. This is a winnable game for the Rollers if they're able to recollect themselves and get the ball to their playmakers. Bud Beaglesworth, Shitbirds sends 6. That allows Pyloni to get open for an 8-yard catch. And yeah, the Shitbirds, I feel like are going to be very blitz heavy now. That was a 9-yard completion. 2nd and inches, Beaglesworth in the shotgun. Shitbirds send 4. Toya Jr. gets free, but finally we see Evan Sackland get a reception off the side. We saw like 9 of these yesterday, and every single one of them got out of bounds, but Sackland getting the good catch. And not only that, but stepping out of bounds to stop the clock. Great work from the Rollers. Yeah, they saw the Shitbirds didn't blitz as much. They went more for coverage, and they tried to exploit a weakness on the side. Great work. Beaglesworth audibling to a 5 wide receiver set, empty set, shotgun. They'll throw it to number 8, Aaron Umbaldo to the 15, the missed tackle. And that's going to have to be Max Geigenham stopping the run at the 6. Nay, the 8. There's where the ball is. What a play by Aaron Albalmo. Beaglesworth maintains his position in the shotgun. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go. He's got the flat open. But no, he's got the big Miles Gundark, who redeems himself from earlier. And it's a touchdown for the Rollers. Miles Gundark's first reception of the game is a much-needed touchdown to bring the Rollers within 4. Kyle Borger to kick the extra point to bring it within a field goal. And the kick is good. And now the Rollers are going to have to stop the Shitbirds. As 2 players exchange words with one another. So the Shitbirds should hold on to the ball for the 2-minute warning. So that's good news for the Rollers. The question is, do they use their timeouts or not? Their defense has been playing mostly phenomenal. Owen Cantwell especially has been so good at pressuring Willie Goman on the side when he's able to break on through. And Justin Threadbare is leaving nothing to chance. He's just going to kneel for a touchback. Maybe smart. See Beavers fans in the chat ruling for the Rollers. That's funny. Phil Stickler getting a big 11-yard run past the 30 for a first down. And we hit the 2-minute warning. The Rollers have to get a stop here. If they allow the Shitbirds to waste time on the clock, they're not going to have many times to mount. They're not going to have much time to mount a drive of their own. If the Shitbirds get a field goal, that's not the worst thing that can happen, since a touchdown will still allow them to go ahead and win it. As a timeout is used by the Rollers, their first of 3. So the Rollers are banking their timeouts now. So the win condition for the Shitbirds is clear. They can tie the Stoats if they just grind, if they use ground and pound tactics, run the ball, get those first downs. They'll keep the Rollers winless. And it's to Phil Stickler, who gets the ball past the 40. The Rollers using their second timeouts. And the Rollers need stops. If the Shitbirds get one first down, the Rollers are going to have less than 30 seconds, maybe 20, if they're able to stop them after the next first down. Dumoulin audibled. So it's a 3 wide receiver I formation here. Stickler on the draw play. He'll fall forward. Rollers not using any of their timeouts yet. They only got the one. If they can help it, they will not use that timeout until they're on offense to perhaps set up the game-tying field goal should they hold the Shitbirds to no points on this drive. There's still enough time for them to stop. Goldman hands it off to backup running back. That's number 40. Who is that? I gotta look up my chart here. Oh, that's Nick Showers, the fullback. Never mind. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and close. This is the play of the game for the Rollers. If the Shitbirds convert on this down, the Rollers have no resources at their disposal to stop. And Nick Pacer will get the first down. As the Rollers use the first down. Reno Pearson, the linebacker for the Rollers, the second-year linebacker. He was a backup quarterback for the Gators in Season 1, but since getting poached by the Rollers in the Season 2 expansion draft, he's been a fantastic middle linebacker for them. But that first down by Nick Pacer means the Rollers will stay 0-6. And that means that their hopes of appearing in the playoffs for Season 3 draws astronomically low. So Reno Pearson just sprained his wrist, so no major injury there. Rollers miss a big one, but this was really a close game. And it was really Bud Beaglesworth's pick that Eric No was able to get, guarding Miles Gundark of all people. I think that was the play of the game that shifted the entire momentum of this. And that's even with a Rollers call going in their favor with that fumble. Of course, the Shitbirds were able to stop them to no points thanks to a doinked field goal, which definitely reverberates in the ears of this crowd far more than when it initially happened. If they got 1 yard closer, that would have gone in and we would have had a tied game. There's so many moments in a football game that you can look back on and say, this is why we lost, or this is what happened, whether it be the missed field goal, the Bud Beaglesworth interception, or maybe it's the first downs you should have got but you didn't. And all you can do is shake your head, rattle those thoughts out of your brain, and focus on the game coming up. But the Shitbirds are victorious. They'll key 3-3, tied with the Seattle Stoats. And if the Beefers win their game against the Gators coming up here in just 6 minutes, that's going to be 3-3 teams in the over there division. Oh my god. Like, Bud Beaglesworth didn't even have that bad of a game other than the interception. Like, both quarterbacks throwing over 100. Beaglesworth getting a 111.2 with 3 passing touchdowns. With a 65% completion rating. This is real football numbers. Like, what can be going wrong for the Rollers, man? It's so aggravating. Yeah, not a lot of rushing going on this game. The Rollers did a great job at run stopping, except for that final do or die situation there on the final drive. Phil Stickler getting 59 and Garrett Rinser leading with 39 rushing yards. Your receiving totals leader, Dumoulin and Maotto getting 70 yards each. Maotto on 3 receptions, Pierre Dumoulin on 3rd. These are Shitbirds numbers. Dumoulin getting a lot of key receptions against the linebacker coverage. And Aaron Obalmo, dude, what in the world? He really gave the Rollers a chance for being a backup wide receiver. Yeah, blocking. Pierre Dumoulin is your pancakes leader. Look at this, though. The Mark Bosso only getting 5 pancakes this game. That is very unlike the Shitbirds. So kudos on the rollers for being able to match strength for strength with the Shitbirds. And your tacos leader, Chup Puff, and Cantwell, and Kite Flyer all got 5 tackles. And Max Geigenham also getting 5 tackles. Your sacks leader, Garyon Downson and Walter Kite Flyer each got 1. And Eric No getting that, probably in my opinion, the moment of the game, the interception on Miles Gundark. No forced fumbles this game.